12 minutes.
You're at 12:24.
Woo! Cool.
I like the way you set up the contrast and how we know a lot about gulls and how we know very little about seals in the first slide, but that contrast isn't readily available. I mean, you talk about Ecuador gulls, and then nowhere in the first slide you see the word seal.
I can put population, like seal populations. Okay.
Or
Yeah.
pictures of gulls and seals.
Okay. I can. Okay.
It's good, because where you set up that first slide, you follow up in the back, and the conclusions in summary or whatever, and that is that not only is it important that we need to know more data, but we also need to collect this data in order to improve the efficiency, the accuracy and the precision by sensing them at a certain time and in the absence of boats.
Mm.
Sorry.
Any more questions?
Why do you think gray seals vary by time of day, but, wait, yeah, harbor seals vary by time of day? No.
Gray seals
Gray seals vary by time of day, but harbor seals do not.
So that's a very good question. Even I don't know that exact answer. However, I would think, I think that maybe gray seals go more in the morning because they forage at night, perhaps. So, like that's so the whole accounts are so much lower in the evening. Maybe they're feeding at that time. So then, by the time it becomes morning, or like maybe like 3, 4 a.m., they haul out then, and then they are resting until the morning, and then they forage again at night. That's just a guess, but that's a very good question.
Is there any information on diet differences in the seals that might lead you to that explanation? Are they feeding on?
So, harbor and gray seals, their diets are pretty similar, but the gray seal diet is the biggest thing about gray seal diet is they eat sand lances. There was a paper that showed that 75% of their scat was sand lance. But they also have their other things that they eat overlap with harbor seals, which are redfish, silver hake, and cod, and those are all apparent in this region. So we could potentially look that up, but the numbers for those aren't specific enough for this area. So we could, if we got a future project, could be to look at the scat of these seals and see what they're actually eating, and then we can compare. But that's just from past literature, so I don't know exactly, maybe that has shifted with these seals, but that's also a very good question.
Are sand lance found here?
I didn't look that up. I can look that up.
Yeah, it's not that.
And are any of them like afternoon, evening fishes?
Well, I was trying to get at is the food source something that would modify their?
It very much could be. I just didn't look into it.
Yeah.
That's a great project for a future intern.
Can we go back to the wind speed slide?
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that you talked about what happened at high wind speeds was a little bit misleading, maybe because you have like one data point that's past 20 knots, and it looks like maybe it could stay even. But like if I was just listening to you, I would have thought, oh, it definitely, like, it's quite probable that haul out decreases at high wind speeds, and like I don't actually know if that data suggests that.
Did I say that?
You mentioned that you only had one point.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but
It's kind of too late. It's one of the, for me, I kind of had the same thing. It's like it's almost not worth running the analysis with that data point. Just because it's one.
Early and like,
Because it has so much influence on the stats, right? I mean, if you had one more data point that was up at 250 and 24 knots, it would be absolutely, right? It would change that analysis pretty dramatically, right? So just adding one data point, you don't, or if it,
had one off at 21, I can do that.
I think it's so influential, that one data point is so influential on that low S fit, that it's misleading visually to do it.
The other thing you need to realize is that at high wind speed, you have a compounding variable of sea state. And then they
I
actually,
made sea state grass and that, there's no difference across any sea state. I didn't know if I had enough room to show that, but I did make grass.
well, I would
Just
argue
didn't-
that at high wind speed, sea state can be really important on Duck Island. Because it's low and you get waves crashing over it,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be.
I agree with you, and just more like, since I did a graph on that, and it was stagnant across sea states up until 5 feet.
Anyway, not probably at one
Until
point.
5 feet.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
We don't have any data after 5 feet. So it was stagnant across all 5. I can, is that important? I can put that up, I make
No,
graphs about that.
I think it's better, like, I would take this plan off and not worry about it.
And you can decide, so this is one of those things, if you think that is of interest enough to you, that at 24 knots there was basically no seals, and you're like, that's of interest, someone else really needs to look at it when it's windy out,
Well, it's.
then I would leave that point on the graph, but not include it in the analysis. So the analysis goes through, but you say, and you can just highlight it and say, hey, look, we had this one point, we didn't include it in the analysis, but it might suggest that at high wind speeds, that goes down, and it's something for someone to look into in the future. But there's no way you can do that.
I'm gonna try.
I would love to do that, I just don't know how to make it so that it stops here and doesn't include this.
Right.
Wait,
You can,
So I really like that, just.
if this is in PowerPoint, you can do it without it, and you can put a black circle overlaid on top of that. Just
Oh,
that
if I can
doesn't-
cut it off.
You can do all kinds of
And-
things in PowerPoint,
Yeah.
right? And just do the analysis and just do create the whole graph
I
with
can
just
cover
those.
these.
Yep.
Yep, well,
Extend the axis to 25, right? But then just put a black circle in PowerPoint, create a circle and put it there, right? It's pseudo cheating, but it's not really cheating.
So don't even include that data point in R, fill in PowerPoint and then add it.
But yeah, just add a layer over the top of that.
Can you go, sorry, can you go back to the graphs, the slides that we're talking about, the seals and the different seals like this with points
great.
out them? Yeah.
Let's go
The
to
natural
the,
history.
Yes.
Let's go.
wait, let's finish up on the graph with the temperature, because I think you have an anomalous point there too. Not so much. No, that's okay.
That's fine. It's more towards the beginning. So
And then this is for water temperature.
Yeah, that's fine.
Start at the beginning.
I'd love to see you have a subtitle on that, unicorn on Duck Island.
So that was this one. You tell me what to change here and we'll do that.
Yeah, see, I don't see the word seal anywhere here.
Yeah, I thought this was confusing because it just, the points, they highlighted the top, what you were gonna talk about, but like, for somebody who's gonna read through these, you're thinking like, okay, where's the connection between goals, aerial boat surveys, and then significance of what? So, it was just,
Seal counts.
Yeah.
Population size.
I think you need to focus on how you wanna deliver this type of information. It's a little vague.
Can you back to your title slide, actually, since we're this close? This is just a general, harbor and gray seal. Okay, I was just weird to put the Latin after harbor, because harbor is not a genus nor species. It just looks funny to me, right? If you were to take harbor and put the Latin after it, you would say, what animal is that?
Oh, because it's not harbor seal.
Seal and gray seal, right? Harbor seal is an animal. A harbor is not an animal, and a gray is not an animal.
So just put seal after harbor.
I don't.
Just put seal after.
It just.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's right or wrong. I know it just is odd.
Yeah.
It just seems.
Because we park boats in harbors.
Yeah, that's to be done. I don't even think those figures are useful.
These are the ones.
I think they're fine. Oh, you mean the
No,
first slide?
the
Yeah, the
Figures
previous
for the
slide.
boat
yeah.
and the map, and
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
these are okay.
This was great.
Yeah.
Oh, because you said Google Images, all photos.
Yeah. Oh, thank
No,
you. They
that's-
changed that.
What? Oh, they're not all.
It's not the disturbance one for Google Images.
That's a good catch. Those are
Thank
little.
you. Yeah, I'm just gonna say everything except disturbance.
Only because that's like an important photo.
Yeah.
God, that thing was actually floating out there.
She was like 20 feet away.
So I'm gonna ask just a very philosophical question to everybody. So do you have a reason why abiotic conditions is first, and why seasons is second, and why prey abundance is third, and why tide is fourth, and disturb?
No.
Is
I just put them up there. Is there a better way I should?
having a reason is a better way, right? If there's some rationale to your ordering of things that makes, right? So if you wanna
I think I did it based on the
Provide-
picture fitting. That's how I kind of fit it in.
So but now you've got circles over them, so now you've got a circle on the top left, and it's drawing this weird
Yeah.
visual effect. So do you want them all on the bottom? So it's like, these are the ones, these are all the ones, but these are the ones we're gonna focus on. Do you want them all on the top? Because those are the ones you're gonna focus on, right? That's
Maybe
what's
in the
gonna,
order
What if
that
I
you're gonna present.
switched these two, and then all the circles are over here, so all this.
I put it,
I
no,
I would
put
do
circles
top
on
and
top.
bottom.
Hmm?
I would do top first and top or bottom, and put them in the order they're gonna be presented, because you do disturbances last, I think.
right. So that's another, so for everybody, when you're doing slides like this,
Order.
it's like keep things consistent and make sure you're doing it for a reason, not just putting stuff up, right? Those are details that help tell the story more consistently across the whole thing and make it cleaner. So think about those things.
Thank you.
Okay, you are mixing uppercase and lowercase.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, make sure your
You don't
A,
need to tell
biotic
us.
conditions, air, water, temperature.
Make that all lowercase?
Yeah.
You don't need to have the units for temperature and wind speed.
This is just for me too. Is island capitalized when you name an island? Is it app or
Yeah.
capitalized island?
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't
By
or
condition,
Because
air,
that's
water,
not that.
temperature.
Okay, I'll, for aesthetic things, okay.
And then the last one, I don't think you need that subpoint, you can say what effect does vessel presence
Right.
and type. So you go all in.
And again, I don't like yes, no answer questions. So if they say do, how do
How do?
abiotic affect fallout? Is it fallout size?
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, you have to be
It's
careful
in-
throughout, you refer to it as just haul out, because like, haul out is a behavior, right?
Mhm.
You might be looking at how what seals decision-making process is to haul out, or there's haul out count, right? So be careful, make sure that you,
Just keep saying all that.
yeah.
Right,
I
so
also
yeah, so
add-
haul out size to me is an area,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
I mean, unless that's a normal phrase in the marine mammal world, to me, an area, haul out size is how big that haul out size,
Mhm.
right? So it's like, that's a number per meter.
It was
squared.
more, I just wanted to try to
Yep.
come up with synonyms so that it wasn't saying the same thing over and over
So
again,
you
but
have to
that's
be careful
fine.
though with that, because in a short time frame, you put in too many synonyms, it's gonna be confusing.
Right.
It's
Okay.
actually better to
Consistent.
be consistent in a short time.
Also, you like basically explain it. I think it'd be important to maybe explicitly say like this is what hauling out is, because to the average person maybe they don't know what haul out is.
I
Because
can
hauling
say
out
that
could
in
imply
my-
going into the water.
Okay, I'll say it in my intro when I say like this is how population assessments are done.
Yeah, so hauling out, getting on the water, busting down rocks.
Going from water to rocks.
Yeah.
And capture the population has a hunting connotation to it. It's the optimal eye to census.
To a census.
To census the population?
Yeah.
Rat from the wall. Like that sea lion yesterday.
Nose.
This is where written language is very different than spoken language. You can get away with a lot of things when you speak, but there are very distinct,
Okay.
connotations to written words. You're like,
You have to what science means, science definitions versus colloquial
yeah.
definitions.
Yeah.
Alright, next. So this, you still, you don't need to go, like you can have it up here and say harbor seals and gray seals are different, you know?
Not nearly as much as what I'm
Yeah, you
going
don't have
into.
to read through the whole thing.
No.
I also-
It doesn't pertain to your study, other than you need to be able to identify them. And maybe they have some behavioral differences that matter to their all out behavior or.
So I can just, I won't mention the breeding season, but I can mention,
If there's nothing here that is directly applicable to your questions, I don't even know why you have it up here.
Well, you could just say that like common seal photo, horsehead seal, or gray seal, excuse me, photo, and then just like both are seen on Duck Island. Like, I don't know if you need all that stuff, but also I would be careful of using versus. Maybe this is nitpicky, but like when I first saw that, I was thinking like competition. I think versus implies competition. I don't know, so you could just put like harbor seals and then gray seals. But that's
What do you guys think? Is that good?
Is it too much? I don't know. I don't mean to be like picky, but
I think all these comments are great. It's like, where does this fit into disturbance and abiotic
It
factors?
was more just giving people a general background, like if they don't know what harbor and gray seals are, because I feel like I want this because
And
assuming
again,
they haven't
on your
seen them, I
audience.
want them to understand what I'm looking at.
But that's all they need, right? They just need
Okay.
a visual. They don't, yeah, they don't need all that other
So
stuff.
of all these data, the one that might be of interest to a naive viewer would be the size. That one is much bigger than the other.
Yeah,
And the breeding season, and that's,
So, and breeding season?
I don't think so.
I was thinking just these things, like these 3 bullets for each one.
breeding season might be important because you are conducting your study during May through August, which is when the harbor seals are breeding and the gray seals are not.
So I guess the point here is that if you have this up, connect it to your study.
Yeah.
They look different, they're different sizes, and right now, one, or when we started, one is in the breeding season and the other is not. So just
Those are
connect
huge
it.
points.
Yeah, connect it to what you are.
And you also, there was a quirk, and this is just care again, you talked about polygamy, but then you said that they're different sizes. Well, polygamy is not sexual dimorphism explicitly, right? Humans are polygamous, but we're not sexually dimorphic. Well, we a little bit we are.
This is the terminology for seals.
It is.
Yes.
So polygamous requires them to be sexually dimorphic, and monogamous doesn't. I'm just checking.
No,
That's fine.
We looked
Generally,
at like, the books that we have on seals. It says polygamy / sexual dimorphism.
that's great if that's the case. I'm just, it's, to me, the two terms are different. If you, the definition of polygamy is, right, multiple
No,
partners.
And I understand. It's just more like I'm just citing the book I found
That's
out
fine.
there for that.
In case you don't
Does
need
the
it.
book say it, like, that's the definition though? Because it could be talking about the two things and like the relationship between them, because polygamy is related to differences in size. And like, the book could have been talking about those relationships without necessarily implying that polygamy means that males and females have different sizes in the species.
It's more like it was an implied thing. Is saying that males, saying gray seals in particular, since they are polygamous and they mate with all these females, it causes the males to become larger, so then they don't need to.
Well,
It's more like
That's not the same thing as the same definition.
okay.
That's a,
Right, there are lots of species, marine mammal species, that are polygamous but not
Not.
sexually dimorphic,
Okay.
right?
So
But
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure.
I mean, even if that's not true, it's still different. It's still
Right. So just be cautious again about your terminology and what you use.
yeah, just
next slide, we need to
This is
go.
like okay. I'll talk to you then.
This
Good.
slide can be combined.
What?
This slide and the next slide can be combined.
What's the next slide?
Go for it. Yeah.
Yep.
Make those pictures on the first slide much, much smaller, put them on the side, put the map on the other side, and then what you're finding, what you measure on there too.
And that'll help people keep track, like, oh, they're in a boat, they're going, like, visually connect the two things.
Yep.
How are you suggesting I do that?
Take those other two
Take both
pictures and make them
pictures.
smaller and just stick them right next to the map, on top of one another.
Make
Yeah,
the map smaller. It doesn't have to be so big.
It's just more like
or
I
just get rid of the wording.
play around with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can make that map smaller too, but, and then just put methods.
It's digging the purple though. I really like the purple background. I'm gonna count on that.
Talk about these.
Oh, go back. And so when you discuss these graphs, you talk about how the line is either flat or slightly sloped or whatever. Instead of describing the lines, describe the biology. Like, it's more clear to say harbor and gray seal counts actually didn't vary with air temperature. We can see that because, the trend is that they're constant over the counts are either highly variable at these temperatures or are similar in variance around all these temperatures. So try describing your data in terms of the biology rather than what the line looks like. It's more powerful.
And can you identify the grade